This month we're in Japan teaching seminars, and the seminars are going very well, but we had a very unusual and interesting experience last weekend. As many of you know, Typhoon Hagibis was approaching Japan last weekend, and the whole country went on to alert, and there were public warnings everywhere to evacuate. I think they ordered the evacuation of 300,000 people. They were expecting a full-on disaster. This was to be the worst typhoon that had hit Japan in about 65 years. And so they were planning to shut down the entire city of Tokyo. Well, on Friday night, we were scheduled to go to Yokohama, which is just outside of Tokyo, and do a Friday night, Saturday seminar. But because of the storm, all the public transportation, all the trains, and all the retail shops were going to be closed on Saturday. So it was decided that our seminar would be canceled. We would do 2 sessions Friday night. But on Saturday, we would drive back to Tokyo, where we were going to spend the night and ride out the storm, early on Saturday before the storm got too bad. So that's what we did. On Saturday, we started driving back to Tokyo. The storm had already started. The rivers were already at their banks level, just ready to overflow, and this was before noon. So we got to our hotel in Tokyo, and we were placed on the 37th floor. So the storm began to rage in the afternoon, and I've even included a video of the intensity of the storm. We actually saw a man blown right onto his face on the sidewalk because of the intensity of the wind and the rain. But while the storm is raging, we're sitting in our hotel room reading, and we feel a sudden jerk and then some vibration. And I looked over and saw the blinds moving against the window, and we knew it had been an earthquake. And it turned out it was a 5.7 earthquake in the middle of the worst typhoon they have had in 65 years. So then we went downstairs for dinner, and on the way back up in the express elevator, we started to sway. And I thought, this is not a good thing to be swaying in a high-speed elevator. When we got off the elevator, it was hard to walk in a straight line because the building was swaying. So when we got to our room, it was even worse, the swaying. It was like being in a cruise ship. And I actually brought I've included a video of the blinds swinging, because at this point the wind speed was 156 kilometers an hour. So the storm was just raging. But it was familiar to us because it felt like a ship, but some of the Japanese people were too afraid to stay in their rooms because the swinging of the entire skyscraper was so weird. But it was when this verse came alive to us, because we were able to sleep all night. God is our strength, and God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the hearts of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. And so we were able to sleep and get up the next morning. It was bright and sunny and preach all day Sunday. And then we found out there were massive landslides. The earth did give way. The mountains did quake. There were villages covered with mud from the landslides, and the rivers had flooded right up to the rooftops. People were being rescued by helicopter. It was a major event here. But God kept us safe, and we were able to continue on with our seminar. So just whatever you're going through, if it makes you fearful, just remember Jesus is right there with his arms around you. He never leaves us abandoned or alone. And if you want to know more about how to deal with fear, worry, and anxiety, we're actually going to be covering it in the new program, Free Your Mind. And the information is on, if you click below this video, click on the Free Your Mind graphic. And we'll be walking you through many of our programs, but specifically how to conquer the 3 parts of fear. Because there's a physical part of fear, worry, and anxiety, there's a spiritual part, and there's an emotional part from your baggage. So we'll be walking you through all of that. So I'll talk to you again next week, but this week, don't be afraid of anything.